But we'll move on in the meantime, and we're going to go to more comments and see what everyone's got to say. Anthony in house, hope you're doing well, Anthony. Says from the beginning, how they portrayed this storyline as the blood feud between Roman and The Rock, it doesn't make sense to have Sammy, Bronson, or Seth in here. Surely it should be purely family members that are blood related to Roman or Solo in the Survivor Series War Games match. Do you know what? It's a fantastic point that's been made there by Anthony, and it leads me to bringing up this question. Have WWE made a mistake with the OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline War Games match, purely because we have 5-on-5 when I think most people were dreaming of 4-on-4. I think most people were satisfied with the idea of Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy versus, Tama Tonga Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo Sikoa. To bring people in outside that are not a part of this, and I agree, by the way, Anthony, Sammy is not blood related in this, but he has been a big factor in the storyline, which I think he was, he's been honorary use, he's been Sammy Uso, he's still part of the OG Bloodline, so he gets a kind of a slider cut out of this. But what about the rest of it? Did WWE need to make this 5-on-5 when I think most people would have been just satisfied with 4-on-4?
Yeah, I mean, for me, dude, the fact that they've added 2 extra people means that we got an extra 10 minutes added to this match automatically, just waiting for entrances. And I presume it's going to be a whole spectacle and a whole show, but like we're looking at a 2.5-3 hour show. This last match on its own is going to take up probably an hour of the show. This is going to be like the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. It's going to be like an hour long, and you didn't really need to add the last 2 people in, but again, like we said at the start, this is probably in there for the best, just to like raise the value of Bronson Reed and elevate that story as well with Seth. And like I presume, I don't even know, like obviously depending on what Seth's doing towards WrestleMania, whether it's CM Punk or not, there's pros and cons to both of it, but I'm the same as everyone else. I think it was unnecessary, and I think the point will be proven if we sit there and watch Survivor Series and we see any match and we turn around and go, that match probably could have done with an extra 10 minutes, and you'll know exactly where those 10 minutes should have been taken out of.
Yeah, probably. You make a very good point there. The only thing I would actually say is a contraire, by the way, as well, to family as well. You could argue that Rollins and Roman Reigns are family in a way. They are brothers because they have been through the Shield. It's an OG before the Bloodline OG. So it's kind of like, it's Roman's original group. So it's fascinating how they're probably going to intertwine and be together in this War Games match. I would say that WWE time will tell if it's a mistake or not. I will say that I didn't need 5-on-5. I would have been quite happy with 4-on-4. I think that was the match that was sold and exciting to me. I would have preferred a longer dragged out build of getting the OG Bloodline on side of one another rather than kind of rushing through it, which is what I think they've done over the last number of weeks. At the same time, though, I would turn around and say that Survivor Series is traditionally known for 5-on-5, and if they do make bigger stars out of Bronson Reed at the other side of this, they keep Seth Rollins active in the meantime. Like you mentioned, CM Punk's name, that's probably not going to kick off till the Netflix era, so they need to keep him busy in the meantime. They'll probably do another Fortnite match with Seth and Bronson after this, and it could be bigger still going into Saturday night's main event. There are a lot of pros and possibilities that can come out of this. So is it a mistake? Potentially not, but is it something that was needed? I would then go and say no.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only other thing that I could possibly add to it is, like, I heard this idea earlier and I thought this is a pretty good shout. Obviously, with the first episode of Raw on Netflix, they're probably going to have like a world championship match, and it's more than likely going to be Gunther versus Seth Rollins. And it's kind of like you want to keep Seth hot, and it's like they obviously don't want to finish that story yet with him and Bronson. So this is just the longest way is to prolong it out and obviously keep Seth away from Gunther for the time being, keep him away from Punk, and just draw it out a little bit longer.
And one thing I would also go out to say as well, when you go to watch previous videos that I've done, I don't think this is the last time we see Bloodline versus Bloodline in any format, particularly even War Games. I think that this has got another calendar year to roll around. If you take your Avengers, take your Marvel, we're in Infinity War at the moment. We've got a while to go until we get to like Avengers Endgame. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things where we can sit tight and relax because, you know, we've got more players to get involved with this one. And I'm sure The Rock at some point will be involved in it as well, opposing Roman Reigns. So we've got a lot of things to build towards. This is just, I suppose, a chapter in what will be the full, collection that will have which is the Bloodline storyline when it's all said and done in WWE.
Yeah.